Hello, good morning, students of St. Mary's. You are welcome back to our online learning, and this is the lesson 2 on visual arts. Lesson 2 on visual arts. I hope you have enjoyed last week's lesson. We thank God. We are going to look at lesson 2 today, same thinking and exploring of ideas, and we'll be looking at the various ethnic groups once again. We looked at last week's own, where we talked about ethnic groups, and we said they are people who originated from one ancestor, and then they share a lot of things in common. One of the things that we also said was that they see themselves as one people. We talked about a community where they live, and then we talked about some examples of ethnic groups in Ghana, Ewe, Dagomba, Akans, etc. And then we took the Akans and we looked at where they originated from, where they migrated from. We said Old Ghana Empire. And then we talk about the food they like best, which is the Mpotompoto, Eto, and then the Ampesi. We talk about their dance. We talk about, which is the Adowa. We also talk about the language they speak, which is the Tree language, etc., and some artworks that they do. Today, we will be looking at the EWES, and we are going to talk about the history and culture of the Ewe ethnic group. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to learn the history and culture of the Ewe ethnic group. Now, let's look at the Ewes as one of the ethnic groups in Ghana. Where do they come from? The Ewes came from Oyo State in Nigeria. They came from a particular place called Kutu. From there, they traveled through Benin and they settled at Noche in Togo. Now, what was the reason for their migration? The reason for their migration was that there were a lot of wars. The Yoruba people in Nigeria were fighting them, and because of that, they had to run away from the Oyo State in Nigeria. In Noche, they were welcomed. When they got to Noche, they were welcomed by a king called King Atoble. He was the first king that welcomed the Ewes to Noche. Now, when King Atoble died, King Agokoli became the new king. He succeeded King Atoble. And this King Agokoli that we are talking about was very bad. He was a very wicked king to the Ewes. He treated the Ewes very badly. He could make them work for the whole day. He was truly a very wicked king. Now the Ewes were able to run away from Noche with the help of a wise man called Tegli. Now there was a time when King Agokoli commanded that all the men should be killed. All the men should be killed among the Ewes. And what happened was that they took this man, Tegli, and hid him in the forest. And they go to him to consult. So this man was in the forest. And when they're having problems, they go there to consult. And one day, they went there to consult the man, Tegli, and what he told them was that anytime the women finish cooking, washing, they should pour the wastewater to make the wall very soft. so that the wall becomes very weak, and then they can break the wall and come out. The women heed to the advice of this man, and then they began to pour water at a particular part of the wall, and then the wall became very soft, and then they broke the wall and then came out and then ran. Now, to avoid being caught, they walked backwards to confuse the people who were chasing them when they were running away from Noche. When King Agokoli realized that the people left, he commanded people, he gathered people to follow them. But they were very wise and they walked backwards. So when they began to follow them, they were moving opposite to their direction. They were moving opposite to their direction. So they couldn't get them, and so they have to escape. And then they came to Ghana here. Now, let's now look at some food eaten by the Ewe ethnic group. The major food that the Ewe ethnic group like best is the akple. They eat it with okra stew. As you can see the picture, very nice. The okra stew, the akple boiled in the bowl, very nice food. I wish you can enjoy some one day. And I hope some of you have even enjoyed some before. The Ewes, again, we talk about the language they speak, and we say that they speak the Ewe language. The major work they do is farming. They engage in a lot of farming, and they also go on fishing. This is the major occupation. This is the work they do to earn a living. The Ewe has a wonderful Borborbor dance, which they love so much and perform them during different occasions like festivals. You can just click on play and then watch the Borborbor dance. Enjoy the Borborbor dance as you watch it. Let's proceed to the next slide. Let's proceed to the next slide. The festival the EWES celebrate. The EWES celebrate the HOGBETSOTSO festival. During this period, a lot of things go on during the celebration of this HOGBETSOTSO festival. This is the time where quarrels amongst members are being settled. If there is a quarrel amongst two or more people among the members of the community, during this period, the chiefs call both parties together and then they look into the matter and then they settle this issue because they really want them to live in peace. Peace is what makes them develop. At this time also, there is also a general cleanup exercise. General cleanup exercise done in the community. There are cleanup exercises such as removing of choke gutters, such as weeding the environment, and then sweeping around. During this festival, they don't want to see any place, any part of the environment dirty. So they organize every member of the community to help in the cleanup exercise. Most of the times, anyone that fails to do this exercise has a lot of questions to answer. They have a lot of questions to answer. This is the major festival that the EWES celebrate. They go to the Deba grounds and then they carry the chiefs in palanquins and then they pour libations to their ancestors. Let's move on to see some of the pictures that the EWES pictures of the EWES during the HOGBETSOTSO festival. You can see some of the chiefs sitting down and some other activities that are being performed. Good images there. You can see them for yourself. This is where we draw the curtains today. We looked at the migration of the EWES. And we said the EWES migrated from Oyo State in Nigeria, particularly from Kutu, and then they traveled from the Oyo State as a result of the fact that the Yoruba people were fighting them, so they had to leave. They passed through Benin and they came to Noche in Togo. Over there, they were welcomed by a king called King Atogble. Shortly, King Atogble died and he was succeeded by King Agokoli. King Agokoli was not very kind to the EWES. He treated them very badly. For that matter, they had a plan of escape and they eventually escaped. They walked backwards to confuse the people Agokoli sent to follow them. And then we proceeded to the food they eat, they like best, which is the akple. The dance they love so much, which is the Borborbor dance, of which you can watch the video. And then we talked about the festival they celebrate. Thank you for being part of today's lesson. Read your PowerPoint slides. Take notes of the major points in it. Do your assignments in your exercise book and keep them till school resumes. And then do the quiz on the website. See you next week for lesson 3. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being part of the lesson. Bye-bye. Same time next week.